It's a dire situation the local economy finds itself in. The weak growth and added spending pressures have significantly stretched public finances. The lockdown to cap the spread of COVID-19 worsened the already weak economy. The economy contracted by 51% in the second quarter when compared to the first quarter, while 2.2 million people lost their jobs in the quarter.
The pandemic has wreaked havoc on economies around the globe and has exacerbated the state of SA's already deteriorated fiscal health. Lower real and nominal GDP growth has added to the pressure and significantly stretched public finances. National Treasury's fiscal strategy, to be detailed on Wednesday, needs to be viable, well executed and supported by the hastened implementation of the reforms laid out in the Economic Restructuring and Recovery Plan in order to boost confidence and drive sustainable, faster growth and investment.
Analysts say the deteriorating government finances could lead to the rating agencies further lowering South Africa's investment grade. Any further downgrades could make it more difficult to raise funding outside the country, pushing debt servicing costs high.
Like most emerging markets, we struggled to attract investment from the foreign market. The appetite for our debt seems to have waned a little bit. So if you have a further downgrade in the notching, it's going to make it more expensive for South Africa to raise debt and to service that debt. And when you have that against the background of, yes, we expect positive growth in the third quarter, but remember this is mostly because of base effects. But at the if you have this at the backdrop of the real output level not being much higher than that of 2019, as well as the tax revenue declining, it becomes a problem.
The socio-economic difficulties exacerbated by COVID-19 have led to more calls to provide a social safety net to the working age population and to boost demand in the economy. The Studies in Poverty and Inequality Institute says support for the unemployed should be continued and investment should be put in sectors that will create employment.
If we want our economy to grow, we need to increase the demand in the market. So if people, in the context of high levels of unemployment, if people are not getting a regular source of income from wage labor, nor are they receiving a monthly grant, then they cannot spend their money in the economy. So we call on government to make the 350 grant a permanent intervention.
Business is calling for interventions that will grow the tax base. Business Leadership South Africa says while there is a limited number of taxpayers, hiking taxes to cap shortfalls is not a solution. The organization says effort should be put in the speedy reform of the economy.
It therefore speaks to some of the critical structural reforms that the country ought to be focusing on to allow investment to flow into the country, because by investment flowing into the country, you can get economic growth, and by getting economic growth, you can therefore start addressing the jobs crisis that we are trying to solve for. And when you have people employed, then you have more people paying taxes. And with people paying taxes, we are therefore in a position to sustainably grow the tax base.
Analysts say hope for economic recovery lie in putting concerted effort in reforming the economy. Amongst others, there are calls to prioritize providing skills training, implementing policies to support tourism, auctioning the spectrum, and securing electricity supply. Dora Stefakomosi, SABC News, Johannesburg.